What's going on, good people? Thank you for stopping by. Today we are making a chilled Thai watermelon and cantaloupe soup with poached shrimp, pickled chilies, a lemongrass coconut cream. This is the perfect dish for summer because it is sweet, spicy, sour. The Thai flavors play really nicely with the fruit that's the backbone of this dish. While this may not sound traditional, I promise if you give it a shot, you'll enjoy. So enough yapping. Let's start prepping everything out. First things first, we're going to start off by pickling some spicy peppers. I'm using serranos because that's what my store had, but bird's eye chilies are more traditional. Slice these thin using a knife or a mandolin. Either way, I would suggest throwing on a pair of gloves so your hands don't get all super spicy, because if that happens and you touch your eyes, you are not going to have a good day. To pickle about a cup of your spicy pepper of choice, add to your pot about a half cup of vinegar. I'm using red wine because that's what I have, but rice wine would probably be better. About a quarter cup of water, a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of sugar, a tablespoon of coriander, aka cilantro seed, and a tablespoon of black pepper. Bring this to a boil and taste. I'm aiming to have a very vinegar in this particular application. After this comes to a boil, strain out the liquid over your thinly sliced peppers and allow it to cool. Next up, we're going to do a bit of knife work. I'm showing you some of it now, but I would highly suggest doing it while your pickle liquid is warming or while your lemongrass is steeping. An upcoming step. Multitasking will save you a ton of time. Anyway, zest and juice 3 or 4 limes. I highly suggest using a citrus squeezer like I'm using here. It makes things cleaner, more efficient, and you get more juice out of your citrus. Then peel a 3-inch knob of your ginger using the only logical implement, a spoon. It may seem crazy, but a spoon does a hell of a whole lot better of a job. A spoon is amazing for getting into the awkward spots of the ginger where your peeler just can't reach. Clean up your board, then cut your ginger into small pieces. The exact size doesn't really matter because they're getting thrown into a blender, and after you cut it, clean again. Violently shake a can of coconut cream and pour its contents into an appropriate sized cooking vessel. Then take your lemongrass and beat it with the backside of your knife. You want to give it several good whacks, but the blade of your knife is facing up, so please, 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 for the love of God, do not put yourself or any loved ones in the hospital. Hell, don't even put somebody you don't like in the hospital. As you beat up your lemongrass, it should become quite fragrant. This will help release its flavor and it will make it easier to cut. Cut your lemongrass into about 2-inch pieces and add it to your coconut. Put the mixture on your stove that still hasn't magically turned into a gas range and cook over low heat for 10 to 15 minutes. You are simply trying to steep the lemongrass into the coconut and not bring it anywhere near a boil. After this is done cooking, blend. Side note, it is super awkward to use a blender when you have to reach around it like this. After fully blended, you'll have a weird looking stringy goop. Pour the goop-like mixture you have into a strainer-lined bowl, then use a spoon to press the lemongrass against the side of the strainer, pushing out the infused cream. Chill and load into a squeeze bottle off camera. Time to poach the shrimp. Add the juice of half a lime and a few tablespoons of fish sauce into 3 cups of water. Don't worry about being too precise with this, you just want a tasty liquid to cook your shrimp in. Only heat it enough so you see a very occasional bubble and add your shrimp. I'm using little guys because you want them to easily fit on a spoon. Poaching is a wicked gentle cooking process, so keep the heat low. After a few minutes, use your favorite blue tweezers to look at the shrimp. When they have turned from a pale gray to a lovely pink, strain the shrimp out of the liquid, add your shrimp into ice water for 5 minutes to cool down, then take it out and set aside. Time for the main attraction, the actual soup. Cut off the top and bottom of a small watermelon. Then guide your knife around the edge, trying to take off the skin without losing too much of the flesh. If you miss some either way, you can always go back and correct. This is a very forgiving progress, so don't beat yourself up about it if it's not perfect. Repeat the process with the cantaloupe. With the cantaloupe, cut it in half and scoop out the seeds and discard them. Unfortunately, the app on my GoPro glitched out, so I don't have the shots I took of it. Next, we're going to make a small dice of both melons. Cut planks long ways, then cut off any excess so you have a nice big rectangle. Don't worry about the scraps. We'll use them in the actual soup and blend them up. Cut the rectangles into long strips, then turn 90 degrees and into little cubes. Set those aside. After you've diced up enough for garnish, chunk up the rest of your melon and repeat with the other fruit. Add your chunked up fruit, either your watermelon or your cantaloupe, to the blender, a few knobs of ginger, a tablespoon or 2 of vinegar from your pickled chilies, a heavy pinch of salt, 5 or so basil leaves, an equal amount of chopped cilantro, aka the coriander leaf. When blending the cantaloupe, you'll need to add a splash of water to help thin it out, whereas the watermelon could use a teaspoon of xanthan gum to help thicken it up. I know xanthan gum probably sounds weird, but I promise it's not. You eat it all the time. Hell, you can literally buy it in the baking section of your favorite grocery store. Be conservative though when you're adding it, because it can make the texture a little weird and gummy if you add too much. And remember, you can always potentially add more if it's too thin. After your soup is blended, taste it. Then adjust with salt, vinegar, ginger, herbs as needed. This is very much a subjective thing. You want a mostly sweet soup, but with a bit of sharpness from the acid and potentially just a little bit of spice. After you repeat the process with the second fruit, clean everything up and your prep is done. You can plate it up now or put your prep away. Personally, I fed this to somebody the next day and it was just as good as the day I prepped everything out. Now that we're done with prep, take a minute and remember to subscribe and hit the bell to receive notifications so then that way you don't miss upcoming food, including next time when I'm making a warm goat cheese and arugula salad. As we go to finish this refreshing summer soup, I want to remind you that you can do all the prep from multiple videos, set it aside, have very easy instructions to follow to finish these dishes, which will allow you to put together a multi-course meal that will blow away your friends and family without keeping you glued to the kitchen or much effort when it comes time to fire. When you're ready to plate this, start by adding shrimp to a small mixing bowl with a pinch of cilantro, a tablespoon of fish sauce, and an equal amount of spicy pickle juice. Stir and set aside. Then give both of your soups a good mix. Pour your soups into a bowl at the same time. Alternatively, you could do this with 2 ladles. Next, grab your squeeze bottle of coconut cream and give a good circle around the edge and spoon the shrimp into the middle of the bowl. By no means does this have to be super exact. You want to aim for these spots, but if it's not perfect, don't fret about it. It will probably still look great. A little bit of the liquid that you toss the shrimp in should make it onto the top of the final soup as you're adding your shrimp. Then, using your most favorite blue tweezers that are starting to lose their color, add a few pickled chilies around the edge, a little bit of fancy finishing salt, chopped cilantro, and your diced melon. I like to put the pieces of melon on this side of the soup that is the opposite color from that respective melon to create a color contrast. Now finally, enjoy. As you can see, all of the work for this is truly in the prep, which can be done well ahead of time. By breaking up the work like this, you can free yourself up for when you want to serve something nice, but not want to be stuck in the kitchen away from your friends and family. The base of this soup should be sweet. The coconut cream will add a touch of richness with a light lemon flavor. Because of the shrimp and chilies, you'll have bites that are sour and salty, giving a fantastic contrast. Give this a shot. Let me know how this turns out and let me know what you think. If there's anything you would like to see, whether that be an ingredient or an interpretation of a dish, let me know down below. Again, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll be back next week with this salad that is truly wicked indulgent.